Who are you showing up as today? Who are you choosing to be on a day-to-day basis? Is this something you even think about, or is this something you think about a lot? This question, very simple. I heard it asked the other day on someone else's page, and it meant a lot to me. It made a lot of sense because in exact ways or not, I've asked myself the same question many times before. Who am I going to be today? Meaning I've asked myself this in not the exact words, but a question that alludes to similar answer in one way or another for several years now. Why have I done this? Well, because I want to choose who I'm going to be. I want to choose to be a better individual than yesterday. You see, a part of my journey is that I became the worst version of myself very early on. Around the time I was 14, 15 years old, I was smoking a lot of weed. I was hanging around a lot of my actual friends, but my actual friends were doing a lot of the same stuff. We continued to get into worse and worse things, and we brought around the actual friends who were bad people or doing really bad things, I should say. More drugs, doing people wrong, so on and so forth. And I got into that stage of life very early on. It became normalized to me. The criminal ways, the idiotic ways, the little to no self-respecting ways, and definitely not much respect for other people. These kind of things were very much normal at one point around the time I was 14, 15, 16 years old. The most formative areas of my life. This came at the same time around where I was, in a lot of ways, without a father. My dad was in my life my entire life. He was always a worker. He was always a provider. But around this time, or at least after middle school, he was there less and less. We never had much of an emotional connection before this, though he tried. After this point in middle school, he was doing his own thing, you could say, for sake of time. He wasn't there for me, and as a father should be at a time where I needed it. I faltered in sports by my own choosing because I didn't feel the initiative to keep going. I didn't feel and see as much potential as I could have, at least consistently enough to stay in it. And I was also very distraught with my focus and what I was choosing to put my attention into. Instead of focusing on sports and continuing to progress myself and be a better version of me and listen to the right people and be around the right friends, I chose to be around the friends that were doing more negative things. I chose to be the version of me who was very much interested in just having fun and screwing off, for lack of better words. In these times, I made these decisions to follow down this path. Rather than listening to the coaches I did have, the football coaches, the wrestling coaches that did care about me and did show concern for myself and the things that I was going through, instead of choosing to go with them and the friends that were associated with that kind of side of my life, I fell into the path that my lower self wanted to go into. I fell into the lower, ugly side of me who did not appreciate life, did not know what their future looked like, and really didn't care to find out. I started doing, again, very many different things that could have ended my life. Mostly pretty much just drugs, but it's pretty, can be dangerous, especially as nowadays as it is. So I went through this whole process. I tell you all this, I should say, to help illuminate the fact that it's all about our decisions. It's all about the decisions we make, whether it be subconscious or conscious. These decisions I was making, it was a mix of both. I was consciously choosing to be idiotic and do bad things because I didn't realize a part of my subconscious will was driving me to make those decisions, because deep down, I felt like a victim. I felt that because my dad wasn't there in certain ways, and then not at all, and that he was going down this kind of criminal path, I felt that this was something to be pitied for or victimized for, or that I should just go and do the same thing because it was working out so greatly for him. He was going to prison a couple years later, by the way. In these times, again, I felt this. This was a subconscious feeling and a subconscious will that had control of me for the most part. Again, I was consciously choosing to fall into that place as well at that point in my life through the use of drugs, through the use of negative activities overall. When I say it was a subconscious feeling, I mean that it was something inside that I would not articulate. I would not articulate to you at that time that I was a victim in any way, but I felt it, so I acted that way. I felt that way, so I acted as the lower version of me. I said, who am I going to be today? And I said, nothing good. That question didn't come to mind. I was just, how do I have fun? How do I have pleasure? How do I go out and be cool? Whatever you want to call it. Whatever day it was. So in this time of my life, I created the very ugly situations and scenarios and karma that I had to pay back the years coming forward. Thankfully, around this time, I met my wife. Throughout all of this, I still had this drive to go and work. It's like, all right, I got to go to work. I got to make my own money. So I didn't entirely feel like a victim. I felt like a victim in certain ways. So I was like, all right, I got to go make some money. I can't live off my mama's dime and everything else for the rest of my life. I have to go make some money. I have to go to work. So I did that. My first real, W-2 job, my wife walked in 2 months after I worked there. The rest is history. We've been together for 7 years now. I'm thankful for that. Every day I thank God for that, because that's the God and the universe is what set that up. At this time when I was doing nothing but ugly. And might I add, before my wife came into the picture, probably 6 months, a year prior to this, I actually had a relationship that was going on for some time. It was a year long. In high school, that's a while. And I screwed it up. That lower self that I was choosing to be, fucked off on her, made it worse for her, and really just screwed the whole thing up. Now, it was meant to happen because I got into I was blessed with a great relationship right after. And then I had to pay back that karma through all the trials and tribulations of our relationship and the rest of life as well. But God seen me in this time and he said, look, brother, look, son, the universe saw me and said, look, you're going down an ugly path. You don't necessarily realize why you're doing it. Because you got something to give to the world. You have some greatness. Everybody does. And you're not that far from seeing it. So though you're making these bad decisions in this time, and though you are being the idiot that you choose to be, you are choosing to be this lower version of yourself, I'm going to send you something. I'm going to give you one more life raft. I'm going to try one more time to wake you up. So God sent me my wife, if you ask me, in this time when I needed it. And lo and behold, me and her connected. I even told her, look, I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to hurt you. Because it really hurt me that I hurt the last girl. That was not who I wanted to be. So I told her, I'm not ready for one. Well, within 2 weeks, we were together. In 2 weeks, she actually moved in. It's a crazy start to our relationship. But God blessed me. God gave me a life raft. God blessed her. She was going through her own battle and had just previously dealt with her own previous relationship that was no good on the other person's fault. So I tell you all this to help you understand that who you are showing up as on a day-to-day basis is going to make the difference in your life. And it's all based on your decisions. It's all based on deciding who you're going to allow to lead. You see, back in this ugly time, I was allowing my lower self to lead. I was allowing the egotistical side of myself to lead. I was allowing my subconscious hurt to lead me into day after day. And I manifested a ton of negative, ugly karma. So, who you're going to show up as today, tomorrow, the next day is going to make the decisions. It's going to make the difference in your life. So choose to make a decision to be different, to live your best self, to be who you know you're meant to be, to not let your ego run wild. God, the universe, everything will support you if you just have faith in it and faith in yourself. And you find alignment. You allow yourself to remove your ego, to remove the lower side of yourself, and lift yourself up to the side of you that wants best, the side of you that wants to live gratefully in the world, the side of you who knows you can make a difference in a great way. This is who you should be empowering and listening to. The lower side of you that wants to drag you down and keep you where you're at and make you falter in all of your endeavors, that is the version of you have to leave behind. You have to sever ties with. You have to cut off and kill so you can feed that side of you who will always want more. And this is a continuous process, guys. This is something that you still go through day by day. I'm 5 years into this journey, really. And yeah, my lower self is a lot less powerful, much more weaker, and it's not anywhere as bad as the old version of me was. But it's still there. It's still the devil. It's still the lower version of me that I have to make sure I do not allow to get in control. So it's a continuous process, but there's nothing better than going through it and learning this side of yourself and learning who you really want to be and choosing to be that person every single day. I hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you did, drop a comment below, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Find me on Instagram, find both my Instagrams, I should say. That's Mitchell Brooks and Heart-Led Youth. Heart-Led Youth is a startup movement we are creating to inspire the youth to take inspired action upon their own accord, to realize that their life is their own, to understand that they don't have to live the same life as their generations before them have, to understand that they don't have to live this entertainment trap that leaves them broke and depressed, to help them understand that they can change the world in their own way. Heart-Led Youth aims to be an incubation chamber for greatness. We're connected with Land United, a nonprofit organization in Indian Land, South Carolina. Land United is all about developing the youth holistically through soccer and also through overall leadership and development. So come join the movement, guys. The youth needs it more than ever. We all need to accept that we have so much innate potential. We just have to continue working down that path to manifest it, realize it, and become all that we're meant to be. One day at a time, one person at a time, one penny at a time. I love you guys. Have an amazing day.